Hello friends, in this session I will cover how to download and install WebDriverIO and also its dependent libraries. In a nutshell, we are going to set up the automation test environment for WebDriverIO. Let's get started. First, let me talk about what are the advantages of WebDriverIO. WebDriverIO is an automation tool built to automate modern web applications as well as mobile applications. For example, if you want to automate any application that is built using Angular or React-based frameworks, you can use WebDriverIO. So most of the modern web applications are developed using JavaScript-based frameworks like Angular, React, etc. So if you have such application, you can certainly constrain WebDriverIO to automate your application, right? So this is written in JavaScript and runs on Node, right? You should be familiar with JavaScript and also Node, and it's pretty easy to set up and easy to write the automated tests. And also it is a true open source tool, and this has a larger community support. If you run into any issues and there is a community in which you can post your questions and get the answers as soon as possible. And it supports all browsers. Whatever the browsers are being supported by Selenium WebDriver should support by WebDriverIO as well, like Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari, and other browsers like Opera, etc. And also, it guarantees a true cross-browser experience, right? These are the main advantages of WebDriverIO, but there are a couple of disadvantages as well. Say, for example, it supports only JavaScript or TypeScript as a programming language to write your automated tests. It does not support other languages, right? If you are a Java expert, and it does not support to write a test script in Java, so that you should learn JavaScript and write the test. And also, it does not support Python and other programming languages other than JavaScript. That is one major drawback that I'm seeing with WebDriverIO. Other than that, this is a very powerful automation tool to automate modern web applications, right? Let us move to prerequisites now. In order to install WebDriverIO and setting up automation test environment for this tool, in your machine, so you should have Node 16 or higher installed, and also you should have Java JDK 11 and Chrome browser to run your test on the Chrome browser, and also VisualStudio code to develop your automation test. This will use as an IDE, integrated development environment, to develop all your automation test and framework, etc. So, and these are the installation command, and you just need to run this command to install WebDriverIO and its libraries, right? And this is the run command to run the test. I will talk about this one a little bit more once our installation is done. And then we are going to review the files like a package.json and WDIO configuration file. Already, now let's go to prerequisites section and then start installing one by one. All right. Let me go to my web browser real quick. And so I'm already installed Node. So I'm not installing once again. So if you want to install Node, you should go to node.nodejs.org and install Node.js as per your operating system. So here you see, the installation files available based on the operating system, 32-bit, 62-bit, and Windows, Mac, Linux, etc. So go ahead and install Node for your operating system. And since I'm on Mac, so I have installed Mac 64-bit, and because my processor is Intel. And then next is download Java. I would prefer to download Java first and then download Node. So in order to download Java JDK 11, so you should go to oracle.com and then you can download Java based on your operating system. So here you see JDK 11 Linux and also JDK 11 for Mac and JDK 11 for Windows as well, right? Just download as per your operating system, right? Once these two are download and installed, then you should install VisualStudio editor. So here you go to code.visualstudio.com and then download this editor, right? So once this is downloaded, you can then download your Chrome browser to run your test, right? In order to download Chrome browser, you can go to google.com and then Chrome download. So you can just search download Chrome in Google. That will take you to this link and then install based on your operating system. Since I'm on Mac, it is showing as the download file for Mac, right? Assume that you have installed Node 16 or higher, JDK 11, Chrome browser, and Visual Studio Code. And then in order to make sure that I have installed them correctly, let me go to the Visual Studio Code. This is the Visual Studio Code, right? Here, let me clear this one real quick. So here, in order to check whether you have installed Node or not, right? Just type Node -v. There you go. So I have installed latest version of Node. That's why it is showing Node 20.9. I think I installed this one few weeks ago. That's why it is showing 20.9. Now you may have the latest version as 20.11, I guess. Yeah, there you go. So here the latest version of Node is 20.11, but I have 20.9. So you should be having Node 16 or higher in order to run the test with the latest WebDriver version, which is 8.27, I guess. All right, so now this confirms that Node is installed successfully on my laptop, and then let me go and check whether Java is installed or not. You can just type Java -version. This will fetch the your Java details. So Java version 11 is installed on my machine, right? So this confirms that my prerequisites softwares successfully installed. So since I have already have Chrome browser, Chrome is installed, and you are seeing Visual Studio code editor, right? This implies that all the required softwares are installed, and then the next step is to install the WebDriverIO and its libraries, right? All right. So now let's go to Visual Studio Code Editor, right? We are on Visual Studio Code Editor. As soon as it opens up, and you can go to File, and you can click on Add Folder to Workspace. Okay, so I'm creating a folder on the desktop, right? Click New Folder. You can probably name it WebDriverIO UI Automation. Okay, click Create, and then click Add. Yeah, if you encounter this pop-up, just click Yes. You can click OK. Okay, all right. Here you can see WebDriver UI automation, right? So this folder is created under my workspace. All right, and then let me clear this one real quick and change it to my new project. WebDriverIO. Automation. Sorry, this. Let me go back. Oh, all right. So this is not in my documents. Let me go back. Okay, so I need to go to my desktop. Okay, so now I'm on desktop. So let me change directory to my new project, this one. Okay, now I'm here, right? So you should install your WebDriver IO libraries in the project that you have created, right? Otherwise, it does not work. So you can still install that as globally, but for now, what I'm trying to do is that I'm installing, within my project. So because I don't need WebDriver, for other projects. So let me copy the command from here and then run here, right? Click enter. So it is installing CLI to initialize the project. There are a couple of ways to install WebDriver, right? So here, right, if you don't give yes, it will display bunch of options you to manually enter, right? So you can select those options. Say, for example, hey, I wanted to install, Mocha framework, and I wanted to, or never mind. Do you want to install, Lambda test or Sauce Labs? So you just need to keep saying yes or no. Based on that, your config file will get created, right? So since this is just installing, right? So I'm bypassing all those manual options and just passing yes flag so that it will install by taking all default options. So I'm good with that. Later, you can give a try, installing manually, by selecting, yes or no options, and then give a try. That is probably a task for you. All right. So now you see, right? All are successful. So WebDriverIO, this indicates that WebDriverIO is installed successfully. Now let's go and verify what are the files that I have created, right? Here you can see node underscore modules is created in which you have all the WebDriverIO libraries. So here you have, chunk, right? You don't need to review. And then you have one more folder called test in which you can see page objects and specs. So WebDriverIO automatically generates one spec file for us as well as page object files to run the test to make sure that WebDriverIO is installed successfully. This is just test that is developed using page object model just to run and make sure that we have installed all the prerequisites and WebDriverIO correctly. Right. So now, as for today's agenda, I'm going to talk a little bit about Package.json and the WDIO config files, right? These two are, a little bit, new for the Selenium WebDriver users. So that's why, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this one to understand what is Package.json. So here, right, in Package.json, we have all the dependencies that require to run your WebDriver automation test, right? So here we need WDIO CLI, and also this is 8.27. If this is changed, you just need to, change the version here. And also local runner and also Mocha framework. Sorry, so Mocha framework that we are going to use to write the test, and also the spec reporter. So this helps, to report the test results to the console output, right? And these are the, dependencies that are required for now in order to execute your basic automated test that is generated by WebDriver installation, right? After that, if you want to add more libraries, you can keep installing. You can just get install command and run it here the way we just ran WebDriver installation command, and then those dependencies will get added here. We can then keep updating the version whenever version changes. So that's all about Package.json. However, we'll cover more in-depth details in the upcoming sessions. So now let's go to WebDriver and config file and review this one a little bit. So WebDriver config file contains all the configuration that required in order to run your test, right? So if you look into here, right? So let me scroll down a little bit. This is probably confusing if you are seeing first time because there is looks like a lot of data, but that is not the case. I mean, once you get used to it, you don't have any confusion. So this is a spec file. So here, if you are given, a command, this will execute the desired spec file. So in this case, here we are using regular expression, which means that this is going to execute all spec files. Here, please don't confuse with the spec file if you are not, familiar with the WebDriver. Okay, so here spec file, it just contains the test. So this is the test case, right? So here we are writing the test cases, right? This is the test case, my login application, and describe and it are, Mocha commands. Mocha is the framework that we are using here, which is a JavaScript framework. So I'm going to talk more about Mocha framework and their commands in the upcoming sessions. But for now, you can just remember as describe and it. These are the Mocha framework commands. Right, and so we just have test cases in a spec file. In JavaScript world, we call it as a specs. So other than that, there is no difference. So here, this is a page objects, and you are well versed if you're working on Selenium automation. So we have page objects file in which we create the pages. Right, in every page update model, we separate the pages and then create page object classes separately. So this is as same as that we use in other automation tools. Right, now let's go back to the config file, right? So here, this is all about, spec, and also you can mention whatever you wanted to exclude here. And you can scroll down a little bit. You can, if you are running your test in parallel, you can mention the maximum instances. If you mention 10, you can open up 10 parallel sessions. And also capabilities, right? This is one important, configuration. So if you want to run your test in local in the Chrome browser, so you just need to pass the browser here, so that this is going to bring up Chrome browser and execute your automation test. So you can also replace with Firefox and whatever the desired browser that you wanted to execute your automated test. And also log level info. If you want to configure any log level info, you can configure. Likewise, there are a bunch of configurations that can be done, using WDIO config file. This is very, very important, to understand. And also, you can pass your base URL from here, and also you can mention the timeouts so that, it will wait, 10 seconds before terminating your test. So overall, it has a lot of configuration things. As you get used to this tool, you should get familiar with these configurations. So now let me head back to my agenda. So I'm covered these two as well, and we are done until now. So only one thing is pending from today's agenda is to execute the test that is auto-generated by WebDriverIO, right? Let me go back to, Visual Studio code. All right. So though you can use, other code editors, I would highly recommend you guys to use it because this is open source code editor, the Visual Studio code editor. And you can also use IntelliJ and other, code editors also. But if you want to use the open source, never mind. If you want to use the open source code editor, I would highly recommend you to use Visual Studio code for WebDriver. All right. So now let's go ahead and kickstart our execution. So this is my test.e2e, which is auto-generated. Okay, let me clean up my window a little bit. Is console output. Right here, let me copy the command from my presentation. So this is the command that you should be running. All right, so paste it here and just run your test. Fingers crossed. All right, this is opened up and ran my test. I think I'm running the wrong test, I guess. Let me check. So because I created one project before, this is the project. Okay, so I'm in the right directory. So that's absolutely fine. So I think I'm running, the test that is auto-generated to the newly created project. So let me open up this test once again. So to make sure that the execution is visible for you, let me, let me use a pause here. So you can write await browser dot pause, so that it will pause your test execution for about 5 seconds, so that you can see that we are logged in and perform the validations as expected. All right, I saved it. Let me clean up this one a little bit and then run our test. Yeah, this is launched to this one, and then clicked on login. So we are right here. So here you see that, right? These are the test results, right? See, here we are using spec reporter library to report the test results to the terminal. So here, that's what you see, my login application, which is mentioned in the described, right? And within that, we are writing the test cases. You can assume this is one module or test scenario. So in which we are writing the test cases within the it. This is the test case. So if you want to write one more test case, you can write one more it, and then you can, write your automation script and should log in with the credentials. So this is printed and test is passed. All right. I think that's all I wanted to cover for today's session. I'm sure that you may run into some issues while installing, though the installation is pretty easy. Please, post your comments down below. I will try to respond as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.